حصل له من العساكر والعدد ما يرى كالممتنع أو أن يسلب رجل آخر ملكه، فإنه إنما يتصور بعد بلاء عام وجهد كبير واجتماعات كثيرة وبذل أموال خطيرة تتقاصر الأنفس دونها وتحيله العادة. وإذا وجد الخليفة وأحسن السيرة في الأرض وخضعت له الجبابرة وانقاد له الملوك تمت النعمة واطمأنت البلاد والعباد. واضطر الخليفة إلى إقامة القتال دفعا للضرر اللاحق لهم من أنفس سبوعية تنهب أموالهم وتسبي ذراريهم وتهتك حرمهم. وهذه الحاجة هي التي دعت بني إسرائيل إلى أن قالوا لنبي لهم ابعث لنا ملكا نقاتل في سبيل الله. وابتداء إذا أساءت أنفس شهوية أو سبوعية السيارة وأفسدوا في الأرض فألهمهم الله سبحانه وتعالى إما بلاء واسطة أو بواسطة الأنبياء أن يسلب شوكتهم ويقتل منهم من لا سبيل له إلى الإصلاح أصلا، وهم في نوع الإنسان بمنزلة العضو المؤوف بالأكلة. وهذه الحاجة هي المشار إليها بقوله تعالى ولولا دفع الله الناس بعضهم ببعض لهدمت صوامع وبيع الآية. وقوله تعالى وقاتلوهم حتى لا تكون فتنة. ولا يتصور للخليفة مقاتلة.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله على النبي الكريم محمد وآله وأصحابه أجمعين. Imam Rahmatullahi alayhi, in the previous chapters from the very beginning, he mentioned al-irtifaqul awwal. Irtifaq awwal is on the hilltops or in deserts, in far-flung areas. Someone is living there, living a simple life, fulfilling his needs and necessities in a natural and simple way, as we mentioned before. Then after that, there is, like as you know, that stone era. What? So that is irtifaq awwal. They call it what? Or prehistorical era. They call it what? Prehistorical era. So what the people were doing? Having no any dresses. Yes. Food and drink, that was their basic needs and necessity. So drinking from the water channel flowing here and there, eating the raw wild fruits or vegetations. Sometime later, they tried to make some parts from the stones and rocks. Yes, and excavation they are finding out such like things. And then they find a way how to lit fire and to cook things. Yes, so that we can call irtifaq awwal. But they did not have any joint or common system among them. But later on, when the towns, the villages and the cities got developed to some extent, so then they got involved with one another in transactions, in interaction and transaction. So they made them, or you can say that they lit the element of their civilization. It lit what? The element of their civilization. So what happened? To well-built towns and villages, the people used to come from here and there, exchange of views, exchange of experiments. They are doing that or not? They exchange views with one another and exchange experiments with one another. So thus, al-irtifaq al-sani, it took place. Got it? Then, people, when they have interaction and they have transactions as well. So they have the shuh, which is greed and miserliness. So because of greed and miserliness, in interaction or transactions, they will be attacking one another. They will be attacking one another, or some of them, because of some natural talent or a veiled talent. They know some planes, but they cannot do it on their own. They are in need of so many helpers and so much money and wealth. So that could be possible only through a government and state. And thus, because of these things, the need for state and government happened. So small states in villages, like village was a state. Yes, the state first, that was a state. And then Karoga, that was a state. And then Northridge, that was a state. And then Rosida, that was a state, or say like this. So these were just like village state. Got it? You can call it local states. You can call it local states. Yes, to discipline and to organize the life there. Got it? To stop the mishappening, the wrong things, the evil things. To resolve the disputes. To provide the peace. Got it? And to have some developments. But like individuals, the states are also run by individuals. So they are individuals. Whatever faults and mistakes or desires the individuals have in their individual capacity. So the state leader has the same in his state leader capacity. The same greed, the same miserliness, the same hustle and bustle. Yes? So thus they were in need of a central authority to control all of them. So this is al-irtifaq al-rabi'a. This is what? Al-irtifaq al-rabi'a. So in Islam, for a long time, there was Khilafat of Banu Umayyah, then Khilafah of Banu Abbas, and then at once there were two Khilafat in the world. One was that of Banu Abbas, the center was Baghdad, and the other one was that of Banu Umayyah, and the center was Spain and surrounding area. Got it? The Banu Abbas Khilafat, it was too wide and spacious. And to some extent, the Banu Umayyah one in Spain, it was also. The surrounding areas were run by different rulers, but they were subjected to the Khalifa. They were what? Subject to the Khalifa. So it means the kings, they were just like local rulers, and Khalifa was the central authority. Got it? And that is a matter of common sense and a reasonable thing. Look, even nowadays, in this democratic era, the Queen of Britain just call her or as a resemblance that she is the Khalifa. She is what? The Khalifa. And under her Khilafat or under her kingdom, there are so many countries. Canada is. Yes. Constitutionally, under the Queen. Australia is constitutionally, and even though that's symbolic, even though that is symbolic, but still the basic concept is there. Got it? Or later on, in that part of the world, the Ottoman Empire, the Osmanis, they were Khalifa. But Egypt had their own king subject to Ottoman. Other areas, they had their own kings subject to, say, Ottoman Empire. India had its own kings subject to. So all these Indian kings like Sher Shah Suri, Alauddin Khilji, Shamsuddin al-Tamash, Mahmud Ghaznavi are after that. Yes, Mughals. So these Mughal kings, they were subject to Ottoman Empire. Got it? Even though that was a central authority. Got it? But that was to a great extent a symbolic Khilafat. Otherwise, king was all in all. But for final approval, they used to take approval from Khalifa. To take approval from Khalifa. Like in parliamentary system. In what? In parliamentary system, the prime minister has the power. He is the chief executive. But the president there, he is considered the supreme commander. He is considered. But president, he is just like symbolic. Like in Pakistan, prime minister has the power, but still president is there. So he is symbolic authority and supreme commander. So now, as a protocol, he never goes to the prime minister, even though he does not have any power. Yes, but when it is needed, the prime minister himself goes straight to the president. Yes, prime minister, he appoints big shots, but he recommends the name to the president, and the president approves. So what is approval? You have to sign. Yes, the paper is there, sign. But as long as he has not signed, so that recommendation of prime minister, it does not take effect. You got it?
Yeah.
So Imam Rahmatullahi alayhi, here in this chapter, he is mentioning reasons why the appointment of Khalifa is a must. So he says that the kings of different areas, they are human as well. And what is the nature of an individual? Same like the king is also an individual. He has his nature as well. Now, when every king has his own state, the kharaj and jizya and taxes are getting collected to him. And also, the generals or the chiefs, they are getting together with the king. So now, as we mentioned, that the king, different human, they have different nature. So different kings also have. And same will be the case of the generals and the case of the chiefs as well. Also, every individual, he has a different talent or different capability. He has different talent and different capability. So now, because of this is very much expected that some of them will try to do wrong or injustice to the other king. Got it? And in this regard, he will be crushing and violating the recognized rule even. Because when injustice happens, so it means that the recognized rules are violated. Got it? Even some of the kings, they will be having a greed. If he can grab the state and the kingdom of the other king. Got it? Or not? to expand his kingship to the other states as well. So there amongst the kings, the jealousy, the enmity, it will happen. And based on that, the battles can take place between kings. And these battles will be either for personal gains or only for jealousy or for grabbing an area. Armenia and Azerbaijan, they are fighting for what? Say, yes, for area. Got it? Pakistan and India, they are fighting for what? For area. Kashmir is disputed area. China and India, they are fighting for what? For area. They are disputed areas. Got it? So now, when these type of things happened in the kings, so they were in need of a central authority, they must be subject to that authority. That stop it. If he will give a warning to the king, stop it. Got it? So like as a king is must for public, so Khalifa is must for kings. You should write the formula like this. Like as king is must for public, so Khalifa is must for kings. But Khalifa is more must for kings. Because in public, an individual can attack an individual. But here a well-equipped army will attack a well-equipped army. So here the destruction will be too much bigger. So that's why Khalifa is much more needed. Got it? Now this Khalifa, he must have an army. He must have weaponry. And his army and weapon must be to such an extent that nobody may conceive even that I can overtake him. None of the kings can conceive even. But Imam Rahmatullahi alayhi says, even though to have an agreed upon Khalifa, that is possible. But he says that it needs a lot of struggle and spending of lot of wealth to bring the kings together to agree upon a Khalifa. So Imam says, Rahmatullahi alayhi, that to have a Khalifa, that is a must based on aql, naql, and history as well. Nowadays, it is looking almost impossible, but still there must be some institution which may have an authority to control such like happenings. As I told you that UNO to some extent, even though UNO does not have that much power, if not supported by the big states, those who have the veto power, those who have the veto power. and those who have the veto power. So practically they are the CEO. Yes. And in this veto power, how many states are there? 5. So in these 5, our country is the utmost powerful. Yes. So that's why what this country wants, you go by. Yes or not? Yes. To some extent, sometimes it wants a thing, but the motion is vetoed by Russia or by China. Got it? Or by France or by Britain. 5 countries: America, France, Britain, Russia, and China. Got it? Mostly, Russia and China is on one side, and these 3 countries are on other side. So now, for example, something happens to India. Yes, so at that time in Cold War, Russia was there to veto it because India was ally of Russia. Got it? Something against Pakistan, so China is there to veto it. Something against Israel, so America is there to veto it. Got it? So anyhow, but a central authority must be there, which is UNO, but justice will be that membership must be on equal basis, and all of them. So then the peace will get established. So anyhow, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said about Khalifa, إنما الإمام جنة يقاتل من ورائه. That Khalifa is a shield. يقاتل من ورائه. To his back, the fight is taking place. Means under his leadership and based on his order. ويتقى به. And also, people are getting shielded by the Khalifa. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says in another hadith, that one is narrated by Bukhari and Muslim. Imam Bayhaqi narrates, As-Sultanu Zillullahi fil ars. That ruler of Sultan or Khalifa, he is the shadow of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on earth. Ya'wi ilayhi kullu mazlumin min ibadihi. Any oppressed of the slaves of Allah comes to the Sultan or goes to the authority asking for help. Now from these 2 hadiths, we found 2 things. That through a system or Khalifa, you can protect the state from the invaders. That's number 1. And from the second hadith, it is known that based on the system of Khalafat, you can help and save the due rights of the oppressed people. So Imam Rahmatullahi alayhi says, Babul Irtifaq al-Rabi' wa hiya al-Hikmah. And that is the knowledge or wisdom, al-Bahisa, which is discusses on siyasat hukam al-mudun, from the siyasa and politics of the rulers of cities, wa mulukiha, and its kings, wa kayfiyat hifz al-rabt al-waqi' bayna ahli al-aqalim, and the connection or relation which is amongst these states or kingdoms, how to keep it and to maintain it, or how to protect this relation in a safe and sound way. Wazalika. And why it is so? Because أنه لما انفرز كل ملك بمدينته, when every king he separated, infiraz means separation, when he is separated بمدينته, with his state, وجبي إليه الأموال, and the wealth are graved towards him, the taxes are coming. وَانْضَمَّ إِلَيْهِ الْأَبْطَالُ, and the generals and the brave people are getting together around him. أَوْجَبَ اِخْتِلَافُ أَمْزِجَتِهِمْ, as their natures are different, the king's natures are different, or even the generals' natures are different. وَتَشَتُّتُ إِسْتِعْدَادَاتِهِمْ, and their talent or capability is also different. تشتت means تفرق. وَتَفَرُّقُ إِسْتِعْدَادَاتِهِمْ, and their talent is also different. So these two things made it must أن يكون فيهم الجور, that there will be injustice. وَتَرْكُ السُنَّةِ الرَّاشِدَةِ, and violation or leaving of recognized principles or ways of life. وَأَنْ يَطْمَعَ بَعْضُهُمْ فِي بَدِيلَةِ الْآخَرِ, and this is also expected that some of them will be looking toward the state of other to grab it. وَأَنْ يَتَحَاسَدُوا, or to show jealousy to one another. وَيَتَقَاتَلُوا بِإِزَاءِ وَيَتَقَاتَلُوا بِآرَاءٍ جُزْئِيَّةٍ, and for his personal opinions. For what? For his, there are two nuskhas. What do you say? بِآرَاء and بِإِزَاء. بِآرَاءٍ جُزْئِيَّةٍ mean personal views, that they will be fighting for personal point of view. أو يتقاتلوا بإزاء جزئية, for one thing they will be fighting. إذا mean for one thing. Yes. من نحو رغبة في الأموال, like what? That he has an eye. Here, an eye to grab his wealth. وَالْأَرَازِي, or to grab the land of another state. أو حسد, or they will be fighting for jealousy. أو حقد, or for enmity. فَلَمَّا كَثُرَ ذَلِكَ فِي الْمُلُوكِ, when that happened a lot in the king, اضْطَرُّوا إِلَى الْخَلِيفَةِ, so they became مُسْتَرْدِيدِ إِلَى الْخَلِيفَةِ, to have a khalifa, a central authority. وَهُوَ, and that khalifa will be that one, حَصَلَ لَهُ مِنَ الْعَسَاكِرِ وَالْعُدَدِ, that he must have such like weaponry and army, مَا يُرَى كَالْمُمْتَنَعِ أَنْ يَسْلُبَ رَجُلٌ آخَرُ مُلْكَهُ, that with which he is just like he is seen just like that nobody can overtake him. أن يسلب رجل آخر ملكه, that anybody can take his kingship from him. فإنه إنما يتصور بعد بلاء عام, because that could be expected, or you can conceive بعد بلاء عام, after a lot of musibah, lot of difficulties, وجهد كبير, and lot of efforts, واجتماعات كثيرة, and lot of gathering, وبذل أموال خطيرة, and spending a lot of wealth, تتقاصر الأنفس دونها, with the people they will have kusur. Kusur means that they are not able to do that. وتحيل العادة, and apparently, عادة means apparently, habit, but apparently that is just like muhal and impossible. وإذا وجد الخليفة, and when a khalifa happened there, وأحسن السيرة في الأرض, and he showed good seerah and good akhlaq on earth. وخضعت له الجبابرة, and the Jabir people, uncontrollable people, they surrendered to him. وانقاد له الملوك, and the kings also submitted to him. تمت النعمة, so that is actually the perfection of the favor of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَاطْمَأَنَّتِ الْبِلَادُ وَالْعِبَادُ, and also the cities and the people, both of them, they will be living in a satisfied way. وَصَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَى خَيْرِ خَلْقِهِ مُحَمَّدٍ وَآلِهِ وَصَحْبِهِ.